One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson. Um, so yeah, this is a famous classic. Um, Great movie. Um, Especially for the material. I mean, besides the ending, it's not crazy dark, but we'll get to the ending. But great cast. I mean, Jack Nicholson, Louise Fletcher, Danny DeVito. I didn't even really recognize him in this, but yeah, he plays a Martini, and I was like, wow. And then at the end, the credits rolling, I was like, oh wow, that's Danny DeVito. I didn't even like recognize. He looks almost totally different. But yeah, the guy is very short. Scatman Crothers as Turkle. Um, I was like, oh man, is that Scatman from The Shining? And it's funny because he kind of plays like a caretaker at night, kind of over them, and it's kind of like he's a caretaker at the hotel, kind of. Um, I don't know if that's his official title, but that's kind of what he is at the hotel. Um, the voice of Chucky, Christopher Lambert. I mean Christopher Lloyd. Oh man, who's the voice of Chucky? That's coming up. Oh man, why isn't this coming up for cast? Brad Dourif. That's it. Trying to like, why isn't he coming up for the cast? Oh, here he is. Okay, it's just his pictures in black and white. Um, yeah, he's great in it. That's but great movie. Um, Basically, Jack Nicholson is a convict, and he gets himself put in a mental institution because he thought it'd be way easier, and I think he had like a work detail too, and they're like, "We just think you're," and then they start to suspect that he's faking it, and that he's just lazy and he doesn't want to do the work detail. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's an amazing actor. He's a lot of fun in the movie. Um, like at one point, he gets them all, like he steals a bus, and he takes them all out fishing, and it's like a huge problem, and they get like the National Guard involved. Um, but yeah, it's a great movie. It won a bunch of Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Actor in a Leading Role, Jack Nicholson; Best Actress in a Leading Role, Louise Fletcher for Nurse Ratched. Oh, Brad Dourif was nominated. Best Actor in a Supporting Role. Best and one Best Director. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's such a good movie. Um, and basically, it's almost like Jack Nicholson's helping them, the inmates, more um than the people that are working there. It seems like it, but but yeah, it's a great movie. Let's see what this is. So in fall of 1963, a Korean War veteran. Huh. I'm not sure if they mentioned that he's a Korean War veteran. And criminal pleads insanity and is admitted to a mental institution where he rallies up the scared Patience against the tyrannical nurse. Yeah. And he does like a bunch of things. You could just tell like Nurse Ratched really doesn't like him. like like he wants to watch the World Series and she doesn't want them to. And then she's like, okay, well, I'll vote on it. And at first, only a couple people say yes. And then later they vote again, like the next day. And they get a majority. And she says, you just need a majority. But then there's a bunch of people that are in the background and they're almost like catatonic. One guy just dances all the time. That's all he'll do. And then she's like, well, we don't have a majority because of them. And then he's like, these guys, it's like they're catatonic, like they're in their own world, because it's like the other guys are, doing a like a therapy session, talking, and then he can't get any of them to do any of them. But then he finally gets what's the guy's name? He's like a Native American. I'm trying to find his name. Um, Sidney Lassek's great as Cheswick. I've seen him before. Let's see, what is he in? Oh, he's in Carrie. Okay. But yeah, like Brad Dourif's amazing. I love him as an actor. He's in the Lord of the Rings movies as Wormtongue, Dune, Mississippi Burning. I mean, obviously the voice of Chucky, Child's Play. I'm trying to find the name of the Native American guy who's like really tall. Oh, okay. It's Will Sampson. He's great in it too. And like him and Jack Nicholson kind of form a friendship, and he kind of reaches him, and no one else could. Um, but I'll go into spoilers. So yeah, he forms a friendship with him, and everyone thinks he won't talk, and they think he's deaf too. Um, I mean, they call it deaf and dumb, and but you like throughout the movie, he forms a friendship with them, and then at one point after they've kind of bonded a little bit. Like he gets him to kind of he's like play he gets him to play basketball a little bit. He I think this is after he sneaks out, he steals the bus that they're all gonna go into. I don't know where they're going, but and he takes them fishing. He like basically hijacks a boat and he takes them fishing and then after that, um, he's like sitting with them while they're about to be electroshocked, which is it's a pretty brutal scene. But he's like, here, you want a piece of gum? And he takes the gum, and then he gives him more gum, and he's like, you've been faking it, haven't you, Chief? It's like you can hear, and then he's like, he basically yeah, he says, I mean, I think he says like yeah. Um, good actor. He's in The Outlaw Josie Wales. I've seen that. Poltergeist 2, The Other Side, The White Buffalo. Fortunately died in 1987. Yeah, pretty young. It's too bad. Um, But and it's sad what happens to Brad Dourif, because like the Jack Nicholson also like sneaks in liquor at night, and he sneaks in a few girls, and Scatman, well, what's his name? Yeah, his name's Scatman. He basically bribes him with liquor and with and like with one of the girls. Like he's like, you know, like he's interested in one of the girls, and then he later gets busted because he has one of the girls in his like the manager's office kind of. And I don't know, we don't really see him again. Hopefully he didn't get fired for that. But yeah, he's an awesome actor too. Obviously of The Shining. Um but yeah, then they get electroshocked and Jack's actually okay. Um and he continues to annoy Nurse Ratchet, and like even though they can't watch the World Series, he acts like the game's on, and he starts like shouting out what's happening, and all the guys like are going crazy for it, and you can just tell she can't stand him. And then um later when he takes everyone out on the boat and he comes back, like the main doctor's like, well, I think he's faking it, I don't think he's mentally ill at all. And some of the other ones are like, no, he is. And then she says he's dangerous, um and he won't listen to rules. And then um later, unfortunately, he gets one, like, well, Brad Dourif, um one of the girls he's like really into, kind of Jack's like girlfriend. And and then Brad Dourif sleeps with her, and then they get caught in the morning by Nurse Ratchet and everyone. And then Nurse Ratchet is like friends with his mom. See, like some of them are in there voluntarily. Like he's in there voluntarily. There's another guy who like thinks his wife is cheating on him, and he's in there voluntarily. Um, and yeah, and unfortunately, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell your mom about this," and he's like begging her not to. Um, and she won't listen. And I was kind of like, isn't this supposed to be like private information? I don't know. Who knows? It's like in the 70s. I don't know. It's like she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell your mom about this," and he's like freaking out. And then he unfortunately is in another room and gets a piece of glass, and you know, let's just say he's not there anymore. And and then Jack sees this because he's become good friends with a lot of them, and he flips out, and everyone flips out, and then they start attacking Nurse Ratchet and attacking some of the staff and hitting them. And um and then and they're attacking them, and then they knock him out. And then unfortunately they like really electroshock his brain, and he's just kind of like a zombie at the end, and he's like his brain's fried. And and then Will Sampson, who he's been trying to get him to help him escape the entire time, comes up to him and he's like, "Hey, I'm ready to go." Because earlier he's like, "No, I'm not ready yet." And because he's like, "Hey, me and you will go to Canada. We'll get out of here. I'll bring the girls along. We'll go to Canada, and we'll have a good time." And he's like, he's been trying to get him to go to break out of there, and then he sees what they did to him, and he's just basically a catatonic vegetable. And let's just say Jack doesn't see the end of the movie, unfortunately. And I don't know about that ending. It's so dark, and it's like all the life's out of Jack, and it's really sad. So yeah, I don't know. Remember, like Rambo Ralph for Life, and his like he really likes the movie, but he's like, I'm just not sure about the ending. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, man, that's what happens to him. It's like I wish he would, I don't know. I like he'd be able to get out of there, but so I don't know if I'm crazy about the ending, but um, you kind of wish that they would both escape, and then maybe you could see him cross into Canada with the girls, and but it's too bad. Um, it's too bad what happens to Brad Dourif. Too bad what happens to Jack. Um, because Will Sampson just can't. He can't. He doesn't want to see him living like that, and what they did to him. So I don't know. It's very sad, but it's a great movie. Up until that's like the last couple minutes of the movie, and up until then, it's really good. Um, Great music too. The director Milos Forman is a really good director. He did Amadeus, Hair, The People vs. Larry Flint. Man on the Moon. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Man on the Moon or Hair. Okay, he did Man on the Moon. I don't know. The movie always looks so weird to me. Unfortunately, died in 2018. So, but yeah, I really like the movie. It's who did the music? The music's really good. Music by Jack Nit Nitschke. Oh, he worked on The Exorcist, music department, additional music. Moulin Rouge, Officer and a Gentleman. So, Jewel the Nile. But yeah, it's a great movie. Definitely recommend it. I'm not sure I really like the ending that much, but and Louise Fletcher as Nurse Ratched is great. I mean, she's so unlikable, but she is pretty great. Oh, she died in 2022. R.I.P. in France, natural causes. Um, she got an Academy Award. I mean, she's great. She's very unlikable. Especially the thing with Brad Dourif. Like, it's just kind of like, did you have like she knew how unstable he was. It's like it's really sad. Brad Dourif's great. Like he's just really shy, timid guy. Really nice. So, but yeah, definitely recommend it. Came out in 1975. I've actually seen a play of this with Christian Slater as Jack's character, which was pretty good actually, and Christian Slater actually was really good, and it kind of makes sense, you know, like when you see what Christian Slater is an actor, he almost kind of reminds me of Jack Nicholson, like a little bit. Like I don't think he's as good as an actor as Jack Nicholson, but he definitely could play him. And I always like Christian Slater too, but yeah, he's really good in the play as Jack. So I think that's about it. Check out the movie; it's a classic. And like, comment, subscribe, and that's about it.